What if the most powerful conversations of your life are waiting to happen with people you haven't even met yet? Right now, you're surrounded by strangers who carry incredible stories, tales of overcoming impossible odds, discovering hidden talents, or finding joy in unexpected places. But most of us walk past these opportunities every single day, trapped in our own bubbles, missing out on wisdom that could change everything. This isn't just about being friendly or making small talk. This is about unlocking a superpower that successful leaders, innovators, and fulfilled people have mastered: the ability to connect with anyone and learn from everyone. If you've ever felt disconnected in our digital world, struggled to find authentic relationships, or wondered how some people seem to effortlessly build meaningful connections wherever they go, then these next 45 minutes will transform how you see every interaction. The truth is, every person has a story that could solve a problem you're facing, inspire a dream you've forgotten, or teach you something you never knew you needed to learn. But accessing these stories requires specific skills that no one ever taught us in school. This isn't about becoming an extrovert or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about developing genuine curiosity and creating space for others to share what matters most to them. When you master these abilities, something magical happens. People remember you, opportunities find you, and you develop a rich understanding of human nature that enhances every area of your life. Chapter 1: The Curiosity Advantage: Why Every Stranger is Your Teacher. Imagine walking into any room and knowing that within minutes, you could discover something fascinating about any person there. This isn't a fantasy, it's a learnable skill that starts with one simple shift: replacing assumptions with curiosity. Most of us have been programmed to keep our heads down and avoid bothering strangers. We make quick judgments based on appearance, job titles, or first impressions, then move on without ever discovering what lies beneath the surface. But here's what researchers have discovered. 87% of people have never been asked about their most meaningful experiences by anyone outside their immediate circle. Think about that. The person serving your coffee, sitting next to you on the bus, or working in the office across the hall is carrying around untold stories of triumph, creativity, and wisdom, and they're actually hoping someone will care enough to ask. The secret lies in what psychologists call genuine curiosity, approaching others with authentic interest rather than trying to extract value for yourself. When you master this mindset, three things happen immediately. People open up in ways that surprise them, you discover solutions to challenges you're facing, and you develop a reputation as someone truly worth knowing. Consider Maria, a janitor who turned out to be a former engineer with incredible insights about resilience and starting over. Or David, a taxi driver whose philosophy about finding joy in service completely shifted someone's perspective on career satisfaction. These weren't lucky encounters. They were the natural result of asking the right questions with genuine interest. The magic begins when you realize that everyone is an expert on something, passionate about something, or proud of overcoming something. Your job isn't to guess what that is, it's to create space for them to reveal it. Start with 3 simple questions that work in almost any situation. Where are you originally from? Opens the door to stories about journey and change. What's the most interesting thing about your work? Reveals passion and expertise you never expected. What's something you've learned recently that surprised you? Uncovers their growth mindset and current interests. The key is approaching these conversations with the energy of an explorer rather than an interrogator. You're not collecting information. You're discovering fellow humans who happen to have different experiences than your own. When you practice genuine curiosity, something profound shifts in your brain. You stop seeing strangers as obstacles or background noise and start recognizing them as potential teachers, collaborators, and friends. This single change can transform not just your social life, but your career prospects, problem-solving abilities, and overall life satisfaction. Your action step: today, use those 3 questions with one person you encounter, whether it's someone you've never spoken to or someone you've only exchanged pleasantries with. Notice how they respond when someone shows genuine interest in their experience rather than just making small talk. Chapter 2: The Listening Revolution: Creating Space for Real Connection. True listening is so rare that when people experience it, they never forget the person who gave them that gift. But most of us weren't taught how to listen. We were taught how to wait for our turn to talk. Real listening goes far beyond being quiet while someone else speaks. It's about creating psychological safety where people feel comfortable sharing their authentic experiences, thoughts, and feelings. When you master this skill, conversations transform from surface-level exchanges into meaningful connections that benefit both people involved. The difference lies in your intention. Are you listening to understand or listening to respond? Are you creating space for them to shine or looking for opportunities to share your own similar experiences? Neuroscientists have discovered something fascinating. When people feel truly heard, their brains release oxytocin, the same chemical involved in bonding between parents and children. This means that giving someone your full attention literally creates a chemical connection that makes them feel closer to you. The HERE method provides a framework anyone can use. Halt what you're doing completely. Engage with eye contact and open body language. Ask follow-up questions that show you're processing their words, and reflect back what you've heard to confirm understanding. But here's the part most people miss: the power of silence. After someone finishes speaking, count to 5 before responding. This pause serves two purposes. It allows them to add more if they want to, and it shows that you're truly processing what they've said rather than just waiting to jump in. Watch what happens when you resist the urge to immediately share your own similar story. Instead of saying, "That reminds me of when I," try, "How did that feel for you?" Or, "What did you learn from that experience?" You'll notice people's energy shift as they realize you're genuinely interested in their story, not just using it as a launching pad for your own. James, a taxi driver, shared 30 years of life philosophy during what could have been a routine ride, simply because someone took the time to really listen to his experiences. The conversation provided insights about finding meaning in service and creativity within constraints, wisdom that directly addressed the listener's own career concerns. Active listening becomes a superpower in professional settings, too. When clients, colleagues, or team members feel truly heard, they share information they wouldn't reveal otherwise. They become more collaborative, more trusting, and more likely to recommend you to others. The deeper truth is that listening is an act of generosity that creates connection and healing. In our noisy, distracted world, your undivided attention becomes one of the most valuable gifts you can offer another person. Practice the 5-second rule in your next 3 conversations. After someone speaks, count to 5 before responding. Notice how this simple pause changes the depth and quality of the interaction. Chapter 3: Breaking the Fear Barrier, from Social Anxiety to Confident Connection. The biggest obstacle to meaningful connections isn't lack of opportunity. It's the voice in our head that creates elaborate worst-case scenarios about what might happen if we actually talk to someone new. Our brains are wired to perceive social rejection as a physical threat, triggering fight-or-flight responses that are completely out of proportion to the actual risk of a polite conversation. The same neural pathways that activate when we're in physical danger light up when we imagine someone might not want to talk to us. But here's the reality check. 94% of people respond neutrally or positively to respectful conversation attempts. The rejection we fear is statistically unlikely, and when it does happen, it usually has nothing to do with us personally. Think about the last time someone politely approached you with a genuine question or compliment. Were you offended? Did you think less of them for trying to connect? Most likely, you either engaged willingly or politely indicated you weren't available, and you probably forgot about the interaction within minutes if you weren't interested. The secret to overcoming social anxiety lies in gradual exposure combined with reframing. Start with extremely low-stakes interactions, asking for directions, complimenting someone's pet, or expressing genuine gratitude for good service. These interactions build your confidence muscle while providing evidence that most people are kind and approachable. Sarah, reading alone at a coffee shop, initially seemed uninterested when approached about her book. Instead of interpreting this as personal rejection, the approach was respectful withdrawal, which actually led to Sarah apologizing and opening up about how books help her cope with work stress. The initial resistance had nothing to do with the person approaching her and everything to do with her current state of mind. This illustrates a crucial principle. People's responses to social interaction are usually about their circumstances, not about you. Someone having a difficult day, dealing with personal stress, or simply feeling introverted doesn't reflect on your worth as a person or your conversation skills. Develop what psychologists call rejection resilience by reframing each interaction as practice rather than a pass-fail test. Every conversation, regardless of outcome, provides valuable data about social dynamics and builds your comfort level with uncertainty. Always have a graceful exit strategy prepared. Thank you for sharing that with me. I hope you have a wonderful day. This approach ensures that even brief interactions leave both people feeling positive, and it removes the pressure to have lengthy conversations every time. The transformation from social anxiety to social confidence happens through consistent small steps rather than dramatic personality changes. Each positive interaction builds evidence that connection is possible and enjoyable, gradually overriding the fear-based assumptions your brain created to keep you safe. Your challenge: choose one low-risk social interaction today, asking someone about their experience with something, complimenting a specific choice they've made, or expressing genuine appreciation for their work. Notice that the anticipation is almost always worse than the reality. Chapter 4. The Gateway Question: Unlocking Stories That Matter. Every person has 3 to 5 topics they genuinely light up talking about. These topics are connected to their passions, their expertise, their recent challenges, or their proudest accomplishments. The art of meaningful conversation lies in discovering these topics and creating space for people to share what matters most to them. Most conversations stay shallow because we ask shallow questions. "How's work?" gets a shallow answer. "Nice weather, isn't it?" leads nowhere meaningful, but certain questions consistently unlock deeper sharing and more engaging interactions. The secret lies in observation-based questions that show you're paying attention to what someone seems to care about. Instead of generic questions that could apply to anyone, look for clues about their interests, expertise, or current focus. Robert, feeding pigeons in the park, transformed from polite but distant to deeply engaged when someone noticed his careful attention to individual birds and asked about his relationship with them. This observation-based question revealed a profound story about finding purpose and healing after loss through daily acts of care and attention. The magic happens when your question acknowledges something they're already demonstrating they value. "You seem to know these pigeons really well. Do you have a favorite?" Worked because it recognized Robert's expertise and investment in something he cared about. Watch for energy shifts during conversations. Notice when someone's voice changes, when they lean in, when they speak faster or with more animation. These signals indicate you've touched on something meaningful to them. Follow that energy with questions like, "What got you interested in that?" Or, "What's the most surprising thing you've learned about that?" The 3-layer questioning approach works consistently. Surface layer questions gather basic information, interest layer questions explore what they seem to care about, and passion layer questions dive into their expertise or meaningful experiences. Avoid invasive personal questions with strangers, but don't be afraid to explore their perspectives, experiences, and areas of knowledge. People want to share their expertise and insights. They just rarely get asked about them in ways that feel genuine rather than transactional. Master conversationalists understand that everyone is the expert on their own life experience. Your job isn't to be impressive or to have all the interesting stories yourself. Your role is to be genuinely curious about their unique perspective and create space for them to shine. Practice the energy detection method. Pay attention to when someone's energy increases during conversation, then ask follow-up questions about whatever created that shift in engagement. This skill alone will dramatically improve your ability to have meaningful conversations with anyone. The goal isn't to become a professional interviewer, but to develop genuine curiosity about the human experience in all its variety. When you approach others as potential teachers rather than just people to impress, every conversation becomes an opportunity for mutual enrichment. Your practice opportunity. In your next conversation, use the observation question bridge by noticing something the person seems to care about and asking them to share their experience or perspective on it. Watch how the conversation's energy changes when you tap into their area of genuine interest. Chapter 5. Reading the Room: Emotional Intelligence in Action. The most important part of any conversation isn't what's being said, it's what's being felt. Master communicators read emotional cues instinctively, adjusting their approach in real time to match what others need in that moment. 93% of communication impact comes from vocal tone and body language rather than actual words. This means that becoming skilled at reading and responding to emotional states gives you access to the real conversation happening underneath the surface words. Emotional intelligence in conversation starts with conscious observation. Before diving into your planned approach, take a moment to notice what's their energy level. Do they seem stressed, excited, tired, or distracted? Are their shoulders tense? Is their smile genuine or forced? These observations guide how you should approach the interaction. Lisa, the barista having a clearly difficult day, needed acknowledgement of her reality rather than cheerful small talk. A simple, rough day, with genuine concern, created appropriate connection that honored her emotional state while respecting her professional situation. The key principle is emotional matching, starting your interaction at their energy level rather than imposing your own mood on them. If someone seems overwhelmed, approach gently. If they're excited about something, match their enthusiasm. If they appear tired, offer brief, supportive interaction rather than demanding engagement. Develop what researchers call emotional peripheral vision, the ability to consciously notice people's emotional states through their nonverbal communication. This skill prevents the social mistake of being overly cheerful with someone who's struggling or trying to engage someone who clearly needs space. Practice the emotional radar check. Before starting any conversation, spend 5 seconds observing the other person's emotional state through their posture, facial expression, and energy level. Then adjust your approach accordingly. The goal isn't to fix people's emotions or immediately improve their mood. Sometimes the most helpful response is simply acknowledging their reality. "You look like you're dealing with a lot today," can be more connecting than trying to cheer someone up who isn't ready for cheerfulness. Learn to recognize the difference between someone who wants to talk and someone who needs space, between someone who's excited to share and someone who's overwhelmed by demands for interaction. This emotional intelligence prevents you from being intrusive while helping you recognize genuine opportunities for connection. Master the art of emotional validation, acknowledging what someone is feeling without trying to change it. This creates safety and trust that often leads to deeper sharing when they're ready for it. When you consistently demonstrate ability to read and respond appropriately to others' emotional states, you become someone people seek out when they need understanding and support. This reputation for emotional intelligence enhances every relationship in your life. Your awareness exercise. Before your next 3 conversations, take 5 seconds to consciously observe the other person's emotional state, then adjust your conversational approach to match their energy and needs. Notice how this creates better rapport than imposing your own mood on the interaction. Chapter 6. The Mirror Effect. Learning from every story you hear. The most powerful aspect of collecting stories isn't just learning about different lives. It's discovering how others' experiences illuminate your own patterns, possibilities, and blind spots. Every story you hear becomes a mirror that reflects insights about your own journey. Human beings naturally process new information by comparing it to existing experiences, which means every conversation offers potential wisdom for your own decisions and challenges. The key is shifting from passive entertainment to active reflection about personal applications. Master story collectors ask themselves 3 questions after meaningful conversations. What assumptions about life does this challenge? What possibilities does it reveal that I hadn't considered? How does their approach to challenges compare to mine, and what could I learn? David, the retired teacher who started a nonprofit in his 60s, initially seemed to be sharing an interesting but irrelevant career story. But deeper reflection revealed how his narrative challenged assumptions about linear career progression and the timeline for making meaningful contributions. His example provided a roadmap for reinvention that influenced major life decisions. The Story Laboratory approach treats every conversation as research for your own life experiments. Others' experiences become case studies that help you understand which strategies work in different situations, what obstacles you might face, and how various approaches might align with your values and goals. Create a mental database of problem-solving approaches by paying attention to how different people handle common challenges. Career transitions, relationship difficulties, financial stress, health issues, or creative blocks. This collective wisdom becomes a resource you can draw upon when facing similar situations. Look for pattern interrupts, stories that contradict your existing beliefs about how things work or what's possible. These uncomfortable challenges to your worldview often contain the most valuable insights for growth and expansion. The alternative perspective exercise helps extract maximum learning. After hearing someone's story, try to argue for their approach as convincingly as possible, even if you initially disagree. This mental flexibility reveals blind spots in your own thinking and expands your range of possible responses to similar situations. Don't limit yourself to success stories. Learning how others navigated failures, recovered from setbacks, or adapted to unexpected changes often provides more practical wisdom than tales of smooth achievement. Document insights systematically through a story journal that captures not just interesting conversations, but specifically what each story taught you about yourself, your assumptions, or your possibilities. The compound effect of story-based learning accelerates personal development beyond what solo reflection can achieve. You gain access to thousands of years of combined human experience rather than limiting yourself to your own trial and error. Your reflection practice. After your next meaningful conversation, spend 10 minutes writing about what the person's story revealed about your own assumptions, possibilities, or current challenges. Look specifically for insights you wouldn't have reached through self-analysis alone. Chapter 7, Expanding Your Universe, the Power of Diverse Perspectives. One of the greatest limitations most people face isn't lack of intelligence or opportunity. It's the unconscious narrowness of perspective that comes from spending time primarily with people who share similar backgrounds, beliefs, and life circumstances. Empathy isn't just a nice personality trait. It's a crucial cognitive skill that can be systematically developed through intentional exposure to diverse life experiences and worldviews. When you deliberately seek stories from people whose experiences differ significantly from your own, you develop mental flexibility that enhances every area of life. The perspective bubble phenomenon affects almost everyone. We naturally gravitate toward people who think, look, and live like we do. While this feels comfortable, it creates blind spots that limit our understanding of human complexity and reduce our effectiveness in an interconnected world. Research reveals that exposure to diverse life stories literally rewires neural pathways associated with perspective-taking and social cognition. People who intentionally diversify their story sources show dramatically greater improvement in problem-solving abilities and emotional intelligence. Amara, the Somali refugee working multiple jobs while pursuing medical school, initially triggered assumptions based on limited cultural understanding. But her story about rebuilding life after losing everything revealed sophisticated strategies for managing uncertainty, prioritizing goals, and finding strength in difficulty that challenged conventional wisdom about work-life balance and risk management. The key is approaching diverse perspectives with curiosity rather than judgment, asking questions about decision-making processes and worldviews rather than just collecting interesting facts about different experiences. Seek conversations with people whose life experiences differ from yours in terms of culture, generation, economic background, profession, or significant life challenges. Each perspective expands your mental model of what's possible and how intelligent people can reach different conclusions from different starting points. Practice the devil's advocate exercise after hearing challenging perspectives. Try to argue for their viewpoint as convincingly as possible, even when you disagree. This develops cognitive flexibility and reveals the logic behind approaches you might not naturally consider. Remember that understanding someone's perspective doesn't require agreeing with all their choices or adopting their worldview. The goal is developing the ability to see how their experiences logically lead to their approaches, expanding your range of potential responses to similar situations. Cross-cultural conversations often reveal assumptions about normal that you didn't know you held. These insights enhance not just personal relationships, but professional effectiveness in diverse environments. The compound effect of perspective expansion includes improved leadership skills, better negotiation abilities, reduced social anxiety in unfamiliar situations, and increased creativity in problem-solving. Your diversity challenge. Identify one type of person whose life experience differs significantly from yours, then seek a conversation with someone from that background this week. Focus on understanding their perspective and decision-making rather than just learning facts about their situation. Chapter 8, The Happiness Paradox, How Focusing Outward Transforms Your Inner Life. Psychology research reveals a counterintuitive truth. The fastest way to improve your own well-being isn't to focus more intensely on your problems and goals, but to become genuinely interested in others' experiences and challenges. People who regularly engage in meaningful conversations with others about their stories experience decreased symptoms of depression and anxiety, increased feelings of social connection, and improved self-esteem. This happens because outward focus interrupts rumination cycles and provides perspective that pure self-analysis cannot achieve. The ripple effect occurs when genuine interest in others creates positive psychological changes in the listener that extend far beyond the conversations themselves. Acts of authentic curiosity trigger the release of oxytocin and serotonin neurotransmitters associated with bonding, happiness, and life satisfaction. Use story collection as productive procrastination when you're stuck on personal problems. Instead of continuing to analyze your situation, seek meaningful conversations with others and allow their perspectives to inform your thinking indirectly. During periods of career uncertainty, daily conversations with strangers about their paths, challenges, and solutions provide evidence that difficulties are universal and surmountable while expanding vision of possible futures. This approach offers renewed confidence and clarity that emerges from shifted perspective rather than deeper self-focus. The practice works because psychological well-being is fundamentally social. When you regularly demonstrate genuine interest in others, you create a sense of contribution and social value that enhances mental health more effectively than most individual self-improvement activities. Implement the gratitude expansion exercise after meaningful conversations. Identify 3 aspects of your own life you appreciate more after hearing someone else's perspective. This prevents harmful comparison while amplifying appreciation for your current circumstances. The key distinction is approaching conversations with genuine interest rather than using others as free therapy for your own issues. The goal is learning from their experience, not processing your own problems through their stories. Professional benefits multiply when you develop reputation for genuine interest in others. People remember how you make them feel, leading to opportunities, recommendations, and relationships that enhance career satisfaction beyond what technical skills alone can achieve. The paradox resolves when you understand that personal fulfillment comes through service to others rather than service to self. Contributing to others' sense of being valued and understood creates meaning that individual achievement often cannot provide. Sustainable happiness emerges from connection and contribution rather than personal accomplishment or circumstance improvement. Story collection provides a daily practice for creating both while developing skills that enhance every relationship. Your mood experiment. For 1 week, whenever you feel anxious, self-critical, or stuck on personal problems, redirect attention by having meaningful conversation with someone else about their experiences. Notice how outward focus affects your emotional state and clarity about your own situation. Chapter 9. Professional Mastery Turning Connection Skills into Career Advantage. The ability to understand and connect with others isn't just valuable for personal relationships. It's the secret weapon that distinguishes top performers in virtually every profession that involves human interaction. Traditional business training focuses on technical skills and self-presentation, while neglecting the interpersonal abilities that actually determine career success and leadership effectiveness. But professionals who excel at story collection consistently outperform peers in roles requiring influence, team building, and client relationships. The competitive advantage comes from understanding what motivates others, what challenges they're facing, and what outcomes they truly care about. This insight allows you to customize your approach, solve real problems, and build the trust necessary for high-level business relationships. Sarah, the financial advisor, transformed her practice by shifting from product-focused presentations to story-focused client meetings. Instead of immediately discussing investment options, she explored clients' life goals, family experiences with money, and personal definitions of financial security. This approach revealed that client resistance often stemmed from emotional associations with past experiences rather than rational analysis of risk and return. By understanding their financial stories, Sarah could address underlying concerns and recommend solutions aligned with their values. The results were dramatic: 90% client retention, 300% increase in referrals, and significantly larger average accounts. This success came from genuine understanding rather than superior sales techniques or product knowledge. Apply business story integration by incorporating questions about experiences, motivations, and perspectives into client meetings, team interactions, and networking conversations. Balance genuine interest with professional boundaries, focusing on work-relevant aspects while respecting privacy. Create a professional story map, documenting key colleagues' and clients' motivations, challenges, and communication preferences. This information guides how you interact with them over time, improving relationship quality and business outcomes. The approach works because all business is fundamentally about human relationships, and relationships develop through mutual understanding rather than just mutual benefit. When you understand others' professional stories and motivations, you become someone they want to work with and recommend. Use story collection to enhance team management by understanding what motivates each team member, what challenges they're navigating, and what success means to them personally. This insight improves delegation, recognition, and development strategies. In sales and consulting, story collection reveals client needs that traditional discovery questions miss. Understanding their industry challenges, company culture, and personal goals allows you to position solutions more effectively. Networking becomes more effective when you focus on learning about others' current projects, industry insights, and professional challenges rather than just promoting your own agenda. This approach builds genuine relationships rather than transactional connections. Leadership effectiveness multiplies when you understand your team members' individual stories, motivations, and career aspirations. This knowledge improves communication, increases engagement, and reduces turnover. Your professional application. In your next business interaction, spend the first portion learning about their current challenges, goals, or interesting aspects of their work before discussing your own agenda. Notice how this affects relationship quality and interaction outcomes. Chapter 10, Becoming Unforgettable, Creating Lasting Positive Impact. The ultimate impact of mastering story collection isn't just having better conversations. It's becoming the kind of person who creates lasting positive impressions and meaningful relationships wherever you go. Most people remember very few of their daily interactions, but certain individuals consistently create experiences that others recall fondly long after the conversation ends. The secret isn't being impressive yourself, but making others feel impressed with their own stories and experiences. Research on memorable people reveals a key pattern. Those who leave lasting positive impressions focus on making others feel like the most interesting person in the room, rather than trying to be the most interesting person themselves. Humans have a fundamental need to feel valued and understood. When you fulfill this need in others through genuine interest in their stories, you create powerful positive associations that influence future interactions and opportunities. Jennifer, the hospital nurse, developed a reputation not for medical expertise, but for genuinely listening to patients, colleagues, and visitors. She consistently found something interesting or admirable about every person she encountered and expressed appreciation through questions that made them feel seen and valued. This reputation for authentic interest led to career opportunities, workplace relationships, and personal satisfaction that came from knowing she made a positive difference in people's daily experiences. Her success emerged from aligning daily actions with values of service and connection. Commit to legacy conversations, approaching each meaningful interaction with the intention of leaving others feeling better about themselves and their experiences. Shift your goal from making good impressions to creating good experiences for others. The daily impact reflection practice involves ending each day by recalling one person you interacted with and considering whether that interaction left them feeling more valued and understood. Avoid trying to be liked by everyone or becoming overly focused on others' opinions. Instead, consistently express genuine appreciation and interest while maintaining authenticity and appropriate boundaries. The deeper truth is that creating a legacy of positive connection ultimately means becoming the kind of person you would want to encounter. When you consistently practice genuine interest in others, you develop into someone genuinely worth knowing. People who commit to creating positive connection experiences report higher life satisfaction, stronger social networks, and sense of purpose that comes from contributing to others' well-being through daily interactions. The ripple effects extend beyond individual relationships. When you consistently make others feel valued, they're more likely to treat subsequent people with similar kindness, creating positive cycles in communities and organizations. Master the balance between being genuinely interested in others while maintaining your own identity and boundaries. The goal isn't to become a people pleaser, but to become someone who consistently adds value to others' experience of being human. Your legacy commitment. For the next week, have one legacy conversation daily where your primary goal is helping someone feel better about themselves rather than impressing them with your qualities. Notice how this intention changes both conversations and your own satisfaction with interactions. Every person you encounter today carries stories that could change your perspective, solve problems you're facing, or inspire dreams you've forgotten. The difference between those who access this wisdom and those who miss these opportunities comes down to one simple choice: genuine curiosity about the human experience. We've explored 10 powerful principles: developing curiosity as your social superpower, mastering the rare art of active listening, overcoming fear barriers through gradual practice, discovering gateway questions that unlock meaningful sharing, reading emotional cues to create appropriate connection, using stories as mirrors for personal growth, expanding worldview through diverse perspectives, experiencing psychological benefits of outward focus, applying connection skills for professional advantage, and creating lasting positive impact through genuine interest in others. The research is clear. People who develop these abilities experience reduced anxiety, improved relationships, accelerated learning, career advancement, and greater life satisfaction. But the real transformation happens when you realize that every interaction is an opportunity to learn something valuable while making someone else feel valued. Here's what changes everything: understanding that behind every face you pass is a complete human experience filled with wisdom, creativity, resilience, and dreams. Your daily encounters aren't just social obligations. They're invitations to grow, contribute, and discover solutions you never knew existed. Start small, but start today. Ask one person about something they seem passionate about. Listen with complete attention. Look for what their story teaches you about possibility, resilience, or creativity. Remember that the person serving your coffee, sitting next to you, or working across the hall has experiences that could transform your understanding of what's possible. The practices we've discussed: curiosity-based questioning, active listening, emotional intelligence, and genuine appreciation. These become daily opportunities to transform routine encounters into meaningful connections that enrich both lives involved. When you commit to this approach, something remarkable happens. You stop feeling disconnected in a crowded world and start recognizing the incredible human community that surrounds you everywhere you go. Your journey of meaningful connection starts now. The next person you meet has a story waiting to be discovered. All you need to do is care enough to ask, listen deeply enough to understand, and remain curious about the endless creativity of human experience. Go find someone with a story to tell, and discover what their experience teaches you about the beautiful complexity of being human.